That's science for you. But what happened? Hi everyone, my name is Mimi and welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to be reacting to Dr. Stone Season 4, Episode 32, Challengers of Science. And last episode, the Medusa just like activated by itself. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? And then they built TVs and they had a camera on it and trying to keep an eye on it and make sure that nobody touches it. They took out the battery out of the Medusa until they actually need it, and they don't want any kind of accident happening with the thing activating by itself. And yeah, so there was entertainment in the world right now. So that's all for last episode. And before we get into this one, if you guys like my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and please consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/feelingmini. And now let's start this episode. And here we go. And they're about to build a satellite to look at the moon and see where White Man is on the moon. I'm like, isn't that not going to alert White Man and get him to stone you all? I guess we'll see. Here we go. Okay guys, in case the reaction gets blocked and I had to cut out the reaction itself, you can just look in the pinned comments in the comment section where for the link to the reaction highlight itself, so you can just click on it, watch it, and then you just come back for my review. And like I was saying, is that not gonna alert White Man? And like, okay, they said that White Man is constantly like that the radio waves around the earth is basically telling him or whatever that if there are people around or something walking around the earth and not stoned, why not? Is that the word? Is it the radio waves? Or whatever. That he knows when people are walking around. And they've been walking around and doing stuff for like however many episodes. So are you telling me that White Man doesn't know that and he's not doing anything about it? When are Joel and Kaseki gonna meet each other? Do they float? What would that be? Oh, okay. The solar panels? Oh no, Chrome's reactions always makes me happy. Launchpad acquired. They're done with that. Unmanned rocket acquired. What the heck? Is everyone coming together? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We're at this point. Oh, Senku. 3 years. Wow. 'That's science for you. But what happened? Is there another one? Yep. You're missing hyphen? Then y'all need to be very precise and don't okay. Wow. So it is that why they were crying in the thumbnail? Because when I saw the thumbnail for this episode, you had all of the tears in their eyes. You're on your project too. Is this one gonna work? Maybe that's why they were crying, because it actually did work. It worked! Space telescope.
打ち上げ試しまくり作りまくりするってなりゃ。でもクロムとスイカが作りたい月まで行って帰れるロケットは5倍くらい大きくなっちゃうって言ってたんだよ。衛星写真。これが宇宙とやらから見た私たち地球か。3700年で地形すら様変わりしているな。これ見りゃ目星つくか。わかりまくり。やばすぎ変態。草原と森に変わってるし。つまり広大な農地になるというわけだ。マンパワーがいくらでも欲しい。ああ、正確な新地球儀元に帝王学流水先生と地理学者チェルシー先生のタッグでよ。はこれならば見えるぞ月面が。あとは私の視力をもってすれば必ずやホワイマンを。視力は無関係だ。実際航空写真から黒いシミ油田見つけた実績あんだよ。
Yep.
琥珀の視力はまさに眼力だ。そうか。してるんだよ。嬉しいんだよ。
But
でも琥珀がホワイマン見つけちゃったら片道ロケット作戦が出発しちゃうんだよ。
maybe they need to get her in their plan.
俺らでそれまでに仕上げりゃいいんだろ。往復ロケット作戦をよ。何十年かかんだよんなもんよ。やべえ。どうする。
She found it.
センク、ゼノ。私にはわずかだが時間とともにその形を変えているように見えるのだ。
これはどう見ても月面の自然物じゃない。
ついに見つけたぜ。よー、ホワイマン。待ってろホワイマン。よかった、見つけられたんだよホワイマン。似合わなかったんだよ。クラムとスイカの往復ロケット作戦は。いや、文字通り宇宙規模で皆の力を一つにする。宇宙規模で一つに。ひらめいたぜ。ついに。
You know, he always comes up with something and
なんだこれ。おう、聞けよ。俺らが作るのは特攻の片道ロ。
look at the tongue.
分かってんだろてめえらも。往復じゃロケットがアホほどでかくなる。
少なくとも数十年はかかるだろう。だからクロムはこの位置でずっと一生懸命考えたんだよ。
やべえほどでかい宇宙船を5つに分けて打ち上げて宇宙でバシッと合体させんだよ。
Huh?
私は宇宙とやらがどういうものかも知らないが、いつものクロムの無茶苦茶案だということはわかるぞ。
And usually his insane ideas work.
クヤたちの乗ってた宇宙ステーションも実際そうやって分割で打ち上げて宇宙で組み立てたもんだ。やっぱ知ってんのかよクソ。俺もゼノも100億%考えの外だ。んなむちゃくちゃなプランはよ。
分割合体形式にしようとすれば総部品数は数百万点にも及ぶ。
新世界の人類皆が本気で手を組み数百万点の部品を設計できれば手に入れることも可能だということだ。理論上はな。
エレガントなアイディアだがおよそ現実的とは言えないね。
でもみんなで頑張れば。
ことしたら石化装置の秘密全部ダダ漏れちゃうでしょ。
だったら今この会議の中でだ。細けえことはわかんねえ。100億%無理。戻れねえこと確定だろうが片道しか無理っつうなら。でもワンチャンあるっつうならよ。片道派と往復派、それが俺ら科学王国全員で力合わせて作るってことじゃねえのかよ。ストーンワールド初の民主主義投票というわけか。
作ったよ投票プログラム。はや
どっちかを押せば匿名で1票入るんだ。いいかさまねえだろうな。センク、貴様が科学に嘘をつかないのと同じくサイもプログラムに嘘をつくことはない。宇宙船は片道のワンウェイか往復のツーウェイか。
勝者、ツーウェイ往復便だ。
やっぱひっくり返そうとか言わねえだろうな。ああ、言わねえ言わねえ。
Oh. This show. Of course you can.
地球全員で合体ロケット設計なんつうまね。やれるとしたらこれっきゃね。プロにインターネットを作る。
はい来た。ついに。
This is why I love this show, man. The heart. Uh, the heart. Look, I was saying, okay, yes, you want to be able to bring people back together and everything. And you were saying in the beginning that you were gonna do this, you were gonna hide this from Senku, and I'm like, building a rocket is already hard enough, and then you're talking about doing this runway trip, and then you're doing it by yourself when you don't have the knowledge that Senku and the others have. And I'm like, how are you supposed to be doing this in secret? You know, like it's not gonna work, you know. And it wasn't a secret. There came a time where they had to bring it to them, to everybody, you know. And that time came after um, they discovered where Wyman is on the moon, thanks to Kohaku and her eyesight. Um, so yeah, well, even building that satellite took them years because the rockets kept exploding. There was be this small error in it. At one time they said there was a bubble in something, in the fuel or something, I don't know. And then the thing exploded. There are so like a little thing could make this huge undertaking just fail out of nowhere. And when it finally launched into space, and then they were like, "Oh," And the reason why it was able to it was gonna work in space is because the sun was gonna be the thing that gives it energy, and they built solar panels for that. So that's why it's able to orbit the sun. That moment where they were talking about how the satellite is constantly falling, and then they had this satellite speak, "Oh, I'm falling, I'm falling. Oh, now I'm falling on this side." And that was funny. So yeah, they built solar panels, and then they, through trial and error, they sent this satellite into space, and then they built something else in between. And now it was time to, after they built that, then they were gonna build the manned rocket that was gonna take them up to space. And while they were getting info from the space, Kohaku was there to, excuse me, to look and see where on the moon Wyman was, and she was able to see it because she's like, okay, this particular spot keeps changing, it's not straight or whatever. And she brought it to Senku and Zeno, and Zeno was like, I could tell that that thing is not a lunar structure. He used the word, I forgot. And then Senku was like, we finally found you. Okay. So now they know where on the moon Wyman is located. And now that they found that, then they now gonna be sending people to the moon. And that's what prompted Chrome to basically get them to talk about this, you know. And as he was there doing some kind of calculations, and um Suika was looking out the outside and with tears in her eyes, and that, they failed or something or other. I think that's where he heard Ryusui talking about something, getting the might of the whole of the earth. I don't know. He used something that basically is gonna take everybody to do a particular thing. I forgot exactly what Ryusui said, but it was after he heard that he's like, okay, now we need to decide this. And then he had the idea of doing this in parts, building the rocket in parts and then assembling it on the moon and then come back down or something or other like that. And when he proposed this to everybody, of course, Senku already knew about this because it's like that's what Byakuya and the others did. And Chrome's reactions when it comes to that, I think it's always the same reactions. When he comes up with something, he thinks it's original. And then Senku was like, nah, I know about this. And then he's like, it's some kind of jumping thing and laying on the ground kind of reaction. I don't know. He does that every time it happens. And they're like, oh, that my father did that, and his astronaut they did that previously. And they go, oh, you already knew about this. And then Zeno was like, yes, we know about this, and it's also extremely hard to do. And then you're gonna have all these millions of components and all of that. And they're like, okay, let's put it to a vote. And that goes side with the voting system. Ryusui is like, this is our first democratic vote. At first, I think they were talking about um getting everybody on Earth, like telling this to everybody on Earth so that they can decide um the way they want to go or something or other. And then Gendy's like, no, we can't do that. If you do that, then they're gonna learn about the Medusa. And it's like, okay, if that's not gonna work, then let's just do this among ourselves. And as they were, after Chrome gave this passionate speech, and then you see Senko and the Zeno talking to each other. We didn't hear what they were saying. And then the Sai Brothers voting system out. And then he's like, okay, one is the one way and two is the round trip way. And then he said it was going to be anonymous, way. You go, you vote. And when the result came out, and it's like they are gonna build the runway trip. And as I was there, I was like, okay, yeah, it's anonymous, but that doesn't mean we can't know like how many people voted for no, how many for the one way, how many people voted for the second way or whatever. And then when he did that, nobody voted for the one way, meaning even Senku and Xeno, who were adamant in the beginning about doing this one way trip. After Chrome having this impassioned speech, they both of them agreed that they were gonna go, you know. So yeah, they're gonna build this the runway trip, and um, I believe they said they were gonna build the internet. I'm guessing the reason why they're building the internet is because they're gonna get people from all over the world to participate in building this. I'm guessing because I think they said somewhere in the episode when they were the journalist was doing some kind of um okay, we're about to launch this into space, guys, like doing some kind of reporting, I guess, on the launch. And someone said that it wasn't gonna go past Japan or something or other like that, basically meaning that it wasn't gonna reach the rest of the world. Like it wasn't gonna be this huge thing. So I'm guessing the reason why they're about to build the internet is because they're trying to reach as many people as possible and get all those people to work together into building this massive thing that they were gonna build, because they're like it needs to be 5 times the size of the original rocket that they were gonna build. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot. So I love this episode. I always love it when Chrome comes up with an idea, and even if that idea has already been done, um, it always like the reason why he comes up with the idea, like the goal of that idea, it always comes to fruition. You know, whether it's because he's given a passionate speech, or it's because you know some Senko, even though he knew about it, he didn't think about doing it for a particular reason. But then when Kurums comes up with it, I don't know, that sort of like changes things in his mind a little bit. He thinks about it in a different way. I don't know. Either way, they're gonna do it. So the fact, I'm about to say the fact that they're about to do it, they agree to do this, it means it's gonna work. But I don't know. We've seen how many rockets they've built and lost with just trying to send the satellite into space. How much more complicated is it gonna be to do this? But then again, Chrome did say that he's not gonna go back on his deal, I guess, telling Senko that. So I'm guessing because they're not gonna go back on their word, that they are gonna build this one way or the other. And if that's the case, then I'm happy. It makes me believe that um there's gonna be some kind of a happy ending after this, like Chrome wants to, like I want. I like having happy endings. I don't like it when things are not happy. Even though the world doesn't work like that, I don't care. I want my things to have happy endings. You know. That's why I didn't like Attack on Titan's ending that much, even though it made sense in the context of the show and of the world. It made sense why it ended like that, but I like my happy endings. And I want this show to have a happy ending. So I'm hoping this is gonna work out the way I want it to work out. And that one man is not gonna do something that's gonna destroy that. And that could happen too. I mean, they're going to the moon to face Y Man. He could potentially destroy a part or even all of the parts that they need to rebuild on the moon to come back down to Earth. And if that happens, then they're not gonna come back. They're gonna have to use the Medusa to stone themselves. You know, they could build the runway trip, but something could happen on the moon, and they're not gonna be able to use it to come back down. You know, that could happen. So I guess we'll see how it's gonna end. Hopefully, it ends well. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to see my reaction to episode 33, the link is going to be in the pinned comments, so you can check on it, and you can click on it, and you can check it out right now. And you can also catch up with all my previous Dr. Stone reactions. There's a playlist in the comment as well. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Rolling around like a revolver. It's been a Sunday, how we